So you are a cold-blooded adventurer that likes to live on the edge and do things that you probably don't tell your family about because they would freak out and slap you on the wrist. Me too. But let's talk about the one thing that I did that quite literally took the air out of my lungs, and I'm not sure I'd do it again. That's right, it is my honest opinion about bungee jumping. Now, just a slight kudos to myself, I would consider myself quite an adventurous person. I mean, I've done a lot of crazy things in my life, from sleeping on the side of a rock cliff in Peru, to skydiving, to solo backpacking, to climbing, to, yeah, hella hiking a glacier, everything. Well, not everything, eventually, maybe everything. But I'm pretty adventurous. But this, oh man, bungee jumping, I'm not sure it's for me. I can respect it, but I'm not sure it's for me. And here's why. So before we get started, let's just talk about quick logistics and where I was. I was in New Zealand, so I figured, oh yes, the best thing to do, first bungee jump in New Zealand. So I decided to go with AJ Hackett, which is the first commercial bungee in New Zealand. And they had two options. The first one, which, I'm gonna butcher it, Kawarau Bridge. This option was super picturesque, made for the greatest videos. There's a nice mountain backdrop and a nice river. I believe you can even touch it. It's only about 112, which is still super scary, but it's better than some of the other options out there. But I did not choose to go for the pretty one. I chose to go for the adventurous. My family's gonna hate me afterwards. So I did the Nevis bungee. And took a little bus there, and instead of jumping off of a bridge, you actually jump off of a platform that is suspended between two mountains. So you take a little car, and you go to that little, it's kind of like a cabin, and you kind of wait in the waiting area, but it's really small. And then when it's your turn, they strap you up, you jump, you go. And after you jump, they had this option where you could pull this little lever and it would bring you upright because you're attached by your feet. So you're upside down, essentially. And then it kind of brings you upwards so you can kind of enjoy the view while you're getting reeled back up and your heart's about to burst, which is what you just did. For me, I personally, that was too much for my brain to handle, so I missed the the little handle. He said that it happens every time. I was that person, and they did literally reel me in like a fish. Like, I was just upside down, hanging there, just enjoying the view. So that was kind of the logistics of it. We had to sign a bunch of waivers. They had a little shop there. They had a photography package, videography package, and yeah, it was pretty straightforward and pretty easy. Now let's talk about what everybody asks me about. What did it feel like? What was going through your head? Okay, and they also wanted to know how it compared to other things such as skydiving. Well, let's go through it individually. So first off, there was definitely some differences that I noticed between this and some other activities. I'm gonna start with the sensation that you actually feel in your body. So when you go to Disneyland, or you ride the Tower of Terror, or your amusement park, or you're doing one of those, you know, rides that you pay for, you know, you kind of get that feeling in your stomach. It's like the sensation that your stomach is literally like going through your esophagus. Yeah, I don't personally love it, which is probably why I didn't love bungee jumping. Yeah, I don't really like the feeling of like my lower half of the body feeling like it's coming through the upper half of my body, but some people do. My best friend loves it. If that's you, please comment below so that I can silently judge and secretly respect you, because it is not really my thing, but for some people it is. Now those rides and everything, that's probably, like, it's pretty good. It gets your heart pumping. You can feel that sensation. Bungee jumping, it's like 10 times more intense and way longer. So it like takes those, and it is so much more than those rides. It's probably the most intense feeling of that sensation that I've ever had. And I've had people be like, oh, well, you've skydived before. Yeah, but I don't know if it's because I'm horizontal to the ground, so maybe your body just doesn't do that. With bungee jumping, you're vertical. So for me in skydiving, I didn't really feel that sensation, I mean, at all. So I really enjoyed skydiving. It was great. Another thing is the mental aspect of it. So with skydiving and other things, you have a person strapped behind you. So it's technically them that's pushing you out. But with skydiving and cliff jumping and anything where there is that free fall kind of situation, you have to do it. But even with cliff jumping, because I've done it like off of boats and stuff, it's still not that far down and you still get that feeling. But again, bungee jumping, way more intense. Everything that you feel with other things, bungee jumping, way more intense. And with that feeling, I feel like I don't have a problem with heights. I don't. But when I got up to that platform, I was like, oh, that's so high. And I have to jump, not somebody else pushing me, not anything. I have to jump, me. I have to jump. But that is the one thing that I actually would recommend about bungee jumping that I actually really enjoyed, is it is a massive mental victory. After you do it, you're like, I jumped. I overcame that fear. I overcame just like that raw instinct of don't jump, don't jump. It's a high place, you're gonna die. And you go and you overcome it. So that is the one thing that I really did like about bungee jumping, is I did feel really, really proud of myself after I jumped. Another thing that I'd like to mention is with other things, like it's kind of fun after you jump, you know, like with skydiving, it's really, really scary and then you jump out of the plane and it's just really peaceful and calm. Bungee jumping, not so much. Bungee jumping, it was like you're really scared and then you jump and you get more scared. At least my personal experience. It definitely, I mean, it was like I couldn't scream, I couldn't think, I couldn't do anything. I like legit could not even think. Like those 8.5 seconds, it was just like that's that's basically it. You literally cannot think about anything, just how terrifying it is and how you are literally falling. So another reason why I probably didn't love it, but I think a lot of people do really like it. Now, if you have decided that this is for you and you want to try it, first off, good for you. That's amazing. I cannot wait to see how it goes for you. Here are some just like quick tips and tricks that I learned from my personal experience. It might be different from where you are, but this is what I learned from my experience in New Zealand. Number one, jump right away. I cannot stress this enough. I watched a lot of videos of this specific jump before I went, and there was a lot of them that just hesitated and then they went back and then they tried to do it again and then they couldn't do it. And I think if you don't jump right away, you overthink it, you stress yourself out, you psych yourself out, and unless you are just no fear, just go, which like that's good for you, but us mere mortal peasants, it's pretty hard to like stand there and not hype yourself up. So, and they actually said that on the way out when we were going to that little platform thing. They said that they had a policy that if you didn't jump, you wouldn't get a refund. And I'm pretty sure there was some profanities in there that had to do along the lines of wimps don't get refunds. Definitely check this policy out before you go, because it can push you to jump. Like they told me that and I was like, I'm not getting a refund if I don't jump. I need to jump, you know? And you know, there are people who don't jump and they just don't get a refund. And good for them, that's fine too. But yes, I would definitely recommend just don't think about it, don't look down, don't actually connect with your brain what you're about to do, just do it. Number two, I would recommend feeling that sensation that we talked about earlier, feeling that before you go. I mean, if you don't love that sensation, you're just doing it because you want to check something off your bucket list or for the bragging rights, like fair enough, but I think it's important to know what you're in for, because as I said, it is way more intense than those rides. So if you just go straight into it, you're not gonna know and it's gonna be a bit rough. But if you kind of can understand what it feels like, that thing in your stomach, the butterflies in your stomach, then maybe you can be a little bit better prepared for the sensation of free falling. And number three, if you are having that free falling sensation, maybe don't eat a ton. I ate some breakfast and it didn't feel awesome. I mean, it was fine, I was fine, but yeah, it didn't feel great. I'd probably like eat something, but I probably wouldn't eat a course gourmet meal because it's just gonna be a waste of money because it's gonna come back up in the nicest way I can say. And number four, I would definitely get the video package. I mean, it is expensive. If you're doing it anyway, you might as well, especially if you're like me and you're not sure you want to do it again. I have to say that I do have a lot of footage of my adventures, and this footage from that Nevis bungee is quite easily the fan favorite. I mean, everybody sees it. I've sent it to people. They've been like, oh my gosh, send that to me. And every single time, I mean, people get butterflies in their stomach just from watching me do this. And it is easily the one that everybody is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. That is crazy. Let me watch it again. So it's definitely gonna be the footage that you are very proud of. You'll look crazy doing it. And I do think it is, if you're interested, it is really nice to have that memory and be like, look what I did. Because it kind of puts people into your perspective of, oh my gosh, that was super scary. And then they watch the video and they're like, oh, you weren't lying. That was actually really scary. So after all of that, if you decide that you want to go bungee jumping, that is super awesome. Definitely let me know in the comments or email me how it went. I want to see how it went. I want to feel if you felt what I felt, if it was different, if it was better, if it was worse. But yes, if you tag me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, you can definitely be featured on my highlight page so that everybody else can see you just totally conquering it. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. I hope that kind of inspired you, gave you some information about my personal experience with bungee jumping. And definitely don't forget to like and subscribe if you want me to make more content about everything that should be added to your bucket list. Thank you so much.